Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you can hear me. If you can't hear me, please put a comment in here. I'm doing a little combination here, trying to do two things at once. But I wanted to make sure that I came on today because I've been listening to a lot of Mike Ferry stuff, and he said some really great things the other day. And I've been hearing it a lot from a lot of other coaches. I listen a lot to Jeff Glover and his Glover U stuff. I listen a lot to the core training with Rick Ruby, and then Mike Ferry as well. So there's a lot of coaching that I do, and I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. So if somebody does see anything, they can give me a little heads up or a thumbs up. So hopefully you can hear. It'll be a little abbreviated today. I'm outside, but I wanted to make sure that I brought across these 10 points, and I'm going to be trying to share this as well. I'm not too sure. I must mess around. Let's see. Big friends. Okay. We'll see what takes place. But I'm going to dive right into here. And if you got questions, I will definitely make sure that I answer them as best as I can. I'm on my cell phone. I'm not in my normal spot. So I'll do best I can, as well as talk loud enough so hopefully you can hear me. And if anybody can hear me, just let me know that they can't or whatever it might be. So one of the key things that I'm hearing anymore is talking literally about what is going to take place these next 6 months. I mean, we're already halfway through July, everybody, and we got less than 6 months left to try to turn this 2020 around. I've had a lot of conversations with people who've used COVID as and I'm going to say this nicely, and I'm not trying to be mean, but they use it as an excuse. Guys, COVID is an opportunity. It's not an excuse. COVID is something that you could be doing your care calls. It's something that you could transform your business literally in these next 6 months, and stop using it as an excuse and use it as an opportunity to reach out there. And so I'm going to talk about these 10 key points, and hopefully you're able to use some of these points to be able to transfer your business. We've already started to do these, and so here's number one. So the number one thing, that if you are not reaching a minimum of literally, they say 30 contacts a day. I'm going to break it down to 20. But if you really want to take your business to the next level, you got to start doing 30. But here's the challenging part that I learned. It's not so much, it's the definition of a contact. And my contact definition, because I was always averaging more than 20 contacts a day, was anybody. Could have been a past client. It could have been anybody that I've had, sphere of influence. The definition has now changed. It has to be 20 new people that you've never talked to before. So your new thing needs to be 20 contacts a day is your goal, and it has to be a lead. It has to be an adult conversation about real estate, and it needs to be somebody that you've never talked to before. So make sure you understand the difference between the goal of 20 contacts a day to the definition of 20 new contacts a day of people that you haven't talked to. So the definition has shifted a little bit, where I used to say, hey, it could be any real estate conversation that you have with somebody, past client, sphere of influence, family, friend, whatever it might be. It is now different. It is now 20 new people that you've had a conversation with. Number two is a huge one, and a lot of people, if I was to ask you this question, what are you planning on doing tomorrow morning between 8 and 11? Okay, what does your schedule look like between 8 and 11? Majority of the people have no clue what their schedule even looks like. They have no idea. Well, I'm going to go into work and I'm going to make some calls. Well, who are you going to call? How many people are you going to call? Or I'm going on an inspection. Okay, great. How much money are you making off the inspection? Well, Brock, you don't get it. Like, I really have to do the inspection in order to, for this deal to go through. Really? I'm pretty sure you could do that in the afternoon as well. Well, what are your main focus points that you got in the morning? So number two is, your morning schedule must be planned the night before. Here's the kicker. But it must also be followed. See, there's a lot of plans that are out there, and you can do a lot of different things on your schedule, but if you don't follow the schedule, well, what the hell is the point of having the schedule? So you got to make sure that your morning schedule is planned the night before, and then you want to make sure that you actually follow the schedule the following day. You know, a lot of times I'm pretty sure, actually, I'm 99.9% sure of this, that if I write down my workout every single morning and I do a really good job, talks about my reps, my sets, and how much weight that I want to do, and everything else under the sun. But if I don't do the workout, how much weight loss am I going to do? What is really going to take shape with me if I'm not actually doing the workout? I write it down on a piece of paper really, really well. My penmanship is great. Everything's really nice. I even showed it to a couple people, and I did that for 6 months. And then 6 months later, they're saying, or they're like, well, I thought you've been working out. You kind of look the same to me. Well, that's because you're not following and executing the workout plan that you have set in place. So number two, like I said, morning schedule must be planned the night before, and it must be executed, must be followed. Number three, I'm huge into this. I'm very, very big into this next one. Call your role play partners and your accountability partners every single day. Guys, you have to have somebody that's going to keep you accountable. You have to have somebody that's going to be watching you to make sure you're doing what you need to do. So you want to make sure you call your role play partners. We do role play every single morning on my team, Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning. I cannot believe, Brock, you what? You make us do what? Yeah, that's right. It's called a job, everybody. And you've got to be able to hold yourself accountable to being able to be on that call, to be able to share us your numbers, as well as the role play. What does your for sale by owner script sound like? Your expireds. Right now we're dealing with a lot of role plays dealing with people who have the objection of, well, Brock, I really, really, really want to sell my house. But the problem is, I can't find a house. So I'm not going to move forward until I find a house. Guys, that's an objection. You got to be able to overcome that. Well, Brock, I don't want to, put an offer that's contingent. Okay, that's just another objection. What are your responses? Do you guys know how to respond to that? Are your role play partners helping you out? If you're not getting that and you're not understanding, those objections, you gotta reach out to people who do. The other key ingredient is when you go and you do things where you're going to make calls, your sphere of influence, your for sale by owners, your expireds. Here's the thing, guys. When you go and you play a sport, and of course I'm going to relate this to coaching in the athletic world, I'm pretty sure, actually, once again, I'm 99.9% positive that Tom Brady and all these stud athletes do not just come out of put their uniform on, put their helmet on, and walk out to the field, say, I'm ready to play. They practice, they do pre-game warm-ups, they do stretches, they do some jogging, they're watching film, they're listening to music, they're doing whatever they need to do to get their mind right before they jump into the game. Why the hell do we just like to pick up the phone and think that we're that great that we can just start talking to for sale by owners and expireds and the sphere of influences if we don't even have the right questions to ask them? So it's very important that we understand that you got to pre-game yourself. You got to practice. You got to have that. And they always talk about an hour beforehand. If you can't do a full hour, do 30 minutes. But if you know you're going to be role-playing or starting your income-producing activities 8:30, then you need to know you got to start at 8. Most of the time I tell people at least a minimum you should start at 8, but I'll give you until 9 o'clock. So that 8 to 9 is very, very important that you're out there making sure that you are doing what you need to do to pre-game and get your I always call it pre-practice. You got to be out there for pre-practice. Number four, be better prepared for each appointment. This one always gets me excited. Be better prepared for each appointment. Well, Brock, how do I get prepared for an appointment? Well, how motivated is your seller? How motivated is your buyer? Question, ask a buyer. Buyer, I just want to ask you this. I know you got your pre-approval letter here, but if we find your dream home today, are you going to put an offer on this today? Whoa, what do you mean, Brock? I don't know. We're just wanting to go take a look. No, I understand you want to take a look, but you got to understand something, that there's probably 10 other people who are just taking a look, and there's probably, of those, 4 of them are going to make an offer today. So if we're going out today, we need to be prepared to make an offer. Are you really ready to be prepared to make an offer? Now, if they tell you, well, we're thinking about it in 6 months, okay, prioritize. When people tell me they don't have enough time in the day, well, you're just driving, you're now a tourist, traveler, helping them drive around. Our job is to make money. Our job is to sell real estate, not drive people around. You've got to make sure you ask the questions. You've got to be better prepared going into that appointment. Listings the same exact way. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I really appreciate this opportunity you gave me today. But I gotta ask if if we get a full offer on your home today, are you willing to accept it? They're either gonna say what, yes or no. If they say no, well, okay. What's holding you back? What do you need to do? Well, they're going to tell us, I can't find a house. Okay, so that's the objections that we talked about in number 3 for role play and accountability. Of that's what you need to be looking at, and that's what you need to be going and doing to be able to understand how to be able to overcome those objections. So you got to be better prepared. All right, we're going to talk about the 5-step listing presentation before, later on, but in the bulk of it, you got to be able to be better prepared. You got to pre-qualify your seller or buyer before you go to that appointment, so that way you're prepared walking into it. I promise you, if you just are all excited because you got a listing but you're not prepared, you're not going to get the listing, because the other 2 or 3 agents that are doing the listing interview as well, they're going to be better prepared, and they're going to ask the right questions, and it's going to build confidence in that seller, and that increases your conversion on trying to get that listing or that buyer. Number five, for those of you who are top agents out there and you're trying to get your business and you want to get 36 listings, it's a pretty simple math formula. You gotta get 2 a week. All right, 2 listings a week, that's 6 a month. 6 to 8 a month, you times that by 6, you're looking at 36 to 48 listings. If you want to be top notch, you got to be able to start focusing on getting 2 listings a week. Well, if you want 2 listings a week, how many appointments do you need to go on in order to get those 2 listings? Well, Brock, I'm a 50% battler. Okay, well, great. I'm glad you battle 50%. We got to work on your listing presentation and get you up to that 70 to 80% for conversion. In the meantime, this is what you got. You got to be able to go on at least a minimum of 4 to 6 listing appointments a week. Well, Brock, how do I get those? Well, it goes to role play and how well you're practicing and how many contacts you have. Guys, it's just a math problem that comes into play, and you got to act on that math in order to be able to get that. But if you want to finish off your year strong and you want to get 36 listings, you got to get at least 2 a week in order for that to make sense. No, Brock, I don't want to do that much. Okay, great. Then do 1 a week. That's 4. Anything that you do, I got to believe it's more than what you are right now. So focus on those numbers. Okay, 1 a week, 4 a month, or whatever that looks like to you. But just know the numbers and know your math. Let me change my... Sorry, it's getting a little windy. Number 6. All right, not all of us have this opportunity to delegate more work, meaning I don't have an assistant. I don't have an admin team, Brock. I can't delegate more. Okay, well, here's what you got to do. You got to be creative with your time. I want you guys to write this down. Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com is a great tool. One of my best social media specialists that I've hired on, who I've now been working with him for several months, has transformed my business. Axon, he's actually on here right now, so I'm going to give him a little shout out. I learned or used him on Fiverr.com. He's now been working me for the last 3 months, and he has catapulted my business. He's transformed what I'm doing out there. And guess what? It was a tool that I found in order for us to be able for me to build my business. Use apps. Craig LePage just did a great thing on apps in our one of our Facebook private groups, and it was 10 apps that he had that were phenomenal for us to be able to use. So use the tools that you probably aren't using if you don't have the money, because all those apps were free. There are some things that you got to pay for, but it was like $4 a month. Okay, well, don't go buy a beer and you can get your $4 a month. Build your business up that way by being creative to delegate, but using the tools if you don't have an admin team. Number 7, I want you to write down soft aggressive. Soft aggressive. So what takes place when you're dealing with this is, the reason why I say soft aggressive is a lot of people get if you're too aggressive, you're going to piss people off and you're going to turn them away. If you're soft aggressive, you're going to come across stern yet still trying to, still get your point out there. Because here's the thing. There's aggressive agents out there, and those aggressive agents will beat you to the punch. And you will get pissed when you find out, damn it, I should have called that person, or I didn't call that person, or what, wait a minute, I can't believe they went with that agent. I called them. Well, if you only called them once, it's not going to happen. Guys, they say you got to call and reach out 5 times. You probably should do it 7. After 7, your chances increase drastically. But you got to be aggressive, and you got to increase your follow-up by 50%. Meaning, if your follow-up techniques have you every 2 or 3 days reaching out to them, you're going to have to find creative ways to reach out to them. Create market report cards. Create, hey, there's a new listing that just came up in your neighborhood. I just thought I would tell you. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that home just closed. It was in your neighborhood. I didn't know if you were aware of that. Wow, can you believe that the Huntersville town increase has gone up 2% in the last 30 days on the sale prices? Come up with ways to be able to give them value. Do not, I repeat, do not come up with ways to ask for business. Meaning, hey, did you make a decision? Hey, I was just calling to see if you wanted to pick me to be a real estate agent. Hey, just wanted to call you again, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I'm still here and still waiting to take on your for sale by owner. Okay, that's how you sound. That's how all the other agents sound. Differentiate yourself by giving them value. When you tell them information, I'm not too sure if you're aware of this. See, they will get that, and they will see, like, wow, I didn't know that. What did that house sell for again? See, now they're asking you questions, and you didn't even do anything different except you gave them value. So it's very important that you give value during your follow-up, but you got to be more aggressive. You got to be able to produce more opportunities to have conversations with them. Number 8. This one's a tough one. It took me a long time to be able to do number 8. I gotta learn to say no. All right? When you're hungry and you're coming from scarcity instead of abundance, you will take every listing you possibly can swallow. You will take every buyer. Oh my goodness, I got a buyer. I'm driving around today. I cannot wait. Guys, listen. That buyer will waste your gas and drive you crazy if you keep showing them. A seller that's not motivated to sell will just waste your time. You gotta be able to say no to them if it's not going to pan out. And you're pre-qualifying. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, just wanted to know if you had a full asking price. Would you accept an offer today? No, we're just testing the market. We're really not, we just want to see what's out there. We're really waiting until this COVID thing ends, or we're really waiting for another 6 months. Okay, there's objections to handle. I'm not going to go through that again, but I'm just going to tell you, like, it might not be best for you right now. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I really appreciate that. But when you are ready to sell, I'm going to be sending you some follow-ups. But when you are, I will definitely be interested in taking on your listing. Guys, you got to be able to say no. Buyer, if you're not really willing to make an offer today, let's just drive around. Just drive around the different subdivisions. If you see something you like, just send me a text message. I'll take a look at that subdivision for you. You got to be able to say no, or you will be driving yourself insane and wasting a lot of time and money, and you won't be building your business. So you got to be able to learn to say no. And if you don't know how to say no, talk to the high quality agents. Talk to higher level agents that say, hey, I got this challenge. I got this. Guys, it's just role playing for us. All right. It's being able to handle that role play and being able to say no to them. Number 9 is a very, very big one. It's being challenged every single day, and even more when our area just decided that school will not open, and your mindset is going to be really challenged. I start every morning listening to either Eric Thomas, Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Joel Osteen. I listen to a lot of positive motivational stuff that's out there because it's so important to be able to create that mindset. Because guys, and excuse my language, but shit's gonna hit the fan. It's gonna take place throughout the day, and it's your mindset on where you are and what you feel that you're able to handle and endure, because it's going to happen. I've lost 3 or 4 deals this month alone that were coming close to over $2.2 million in sales. Do you not think I calculated what that commission looks like? Do you not think that I was like, oh my goodness, I could buy this, I could do this now, this is wonderful? Guys, I'm a human being. I do the same things that a lot of people do. I start counting my commission up, and then poof, it disappeared. So you got to be able to get your mindset. Just because deals fall apart, I can't not go be like, all right, this sucks, I'm not going to do it anymore. I got to be able to get back on the horse. I got to be able to call more for sale by owners. I got to be able to call my sphere. I got to be able to gain more business. I got to figure out different ways to be able. I'm calling expireds now for the last 2 years. Listen, your house came up. My buyers can't find your house, but your house was up 2 years ago. Do you want to sell today? I got somebody. Okay? I look up the expired. I find different ways. But I got to be able to have a positive mindset. The second part to that is I got to reduce distractions. Distractions are all around us. Our social media, our Facebook, our Instagram. And the worst component is what's on that TV, that remote that stares at us and let's go watch the news. Let's go look at all these things that usually I'm pretty sure the news doesn't say. Today we're going to talk about bucket fills and the great things that happen in our area. Let's listen into the politicians who said some great things to spread. Guys, typically I'm pretty sure it's usually something negative, it's something bad, somebody's saying something about somebody else, and the world's falling apart, and COVID and is going to take over the entire world. Well, it already is, but it's just going to destroy us, and you know we're going to be left to the side of the road. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're okay, and I don't need to hear all about that stuff. I'm not saying don't listen to the news. I'm just telling you limit it. Limit your time to the news and get enough to make sure that you know what's going on in the world, but not enough that it takes over your world, if that makes sense. Ooh, it is very warm out here, I'm just going to say. All right, number 10, do not deviate or do not steer away from any plan that you have in place, especially in the listing presentation process. We have a 5-step listing presentation process that we have learned and we have developed. For those of you who want to know more about it, I'm going to be doing it next week on the 5-step listing process that we have. Whatever process that you have working on, you got to make sure you follow it. Ours is from the simple things of thank you cards and note cards to pre-qualifying them, to our 5-point touch system from when the appointment is initiated to when I go on the appointment. It's all the way to making sure I'm there early for the appointment, all the way to making sure I handle the objections. I gave my pre-listing presentation, or I gave my pre-listing packet that I have, all the way from having my conversations with myself, with my mindset. All these things come into play, and you got to zone in on that. You watch a lot of when you watch basketball and people go up to the free throw line, the top athletes have the same routine every single time they take a free throw. Doesn't matter what the score is, doesn't matter how much time is left. In those moments, your process of taking the free throw stays the same. The only thing that changes is the emotion, adrenaline, people screaming at you, yelling, what it is, the magnitude of it. But the free throw is still the same. I'm pretty sure of it. The basket's still the same 10 feet. The ball's still the same. The court's still the same. So you have to be able to handle that emotion, that type of mentality at the time period, and you've got to make sure your process is the same moving forward. Guys, that is the 10 steps of what I have and how to take your business to the next level. Like I said, I got a lot of this from the Mike Ferry, got a lot of this from the other coaches that I listen to out there, but I want to make sure that you guys hear it from me as well. I'm not special. I don't do anything different in this real estate world. I just do it every single day. I kept saying to myself, it's a lot easier for me not to do my coach's corner right now, but my mindset kept telling me that you have to do it. You got to be on there. If you have 130, you got to be able to produce it, and it's those little things. I listened to a really good video today about self-discipline, and the self-discipline is the hardest thing for many of us to do, and I try to practice it, and if I practice it and if I teach it, I got to be able to do it. Guys, if you want more information about my 10 steps, if you want to know more about my 5-step listing process that I have, you want to know more about our coaching and what we do, we are in our growing season, we are hiring, we are bringing on people, and if this is something that you're interested in, guys, it's not for everybody. This is the grind. This is day in and day out, and if it's something that resonated with you and you're interested, you just text me, IM me, whatever it is, or reach out to some of the other people in my organization and my team. Guys, I really appreciate all of you that have been on here. I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It is a little warm out. Hopefully you guys were able to hear me, and I do appreciate everybody's time. All right, guys, have a great, great day, and we'll talk soon. Let me know if you got any comments. Tell me on here, and we'll go from there. Bye, guys.